Let me ask you something. Have you ever woken up already tired? Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, even spiritually. Like you're dragging through your days with no energy, no joy, and no clarity. You check every box, meet every deadline, smile through the meetings, but inside you're running on fumes. That, my friend, is not laziness, it's burnout. And burnout isn't a mystery, it's a consequence. Now here's the truth. You don't beat burnout with a vacation. You beat burnout with a system. Not with less work, but with better structure. Not by checking out, but by tuning in to what matters most. You see, life doesn't get easier, you get stronger. But strength needs a foundation, it needs order, it needs routine. Structure is not the enemy of freedom, it is the source of it. Most people wait until life breaks them before they fix it. But what if you didn't wait? What if this moment became your turning point? In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to take back control of your energy, your focus, and your life. One structured habit at a time. So don't just survive another day. Learn how to rebuild your rhythm, reclaim your mind, and finally beat burnout for good. Let's get to work. Burnout is not weakness, it's a signal. Let's get something straight right from the start. Burnout is not a sign of weakness, it's not laziness, it's not a lack of ambition, it's not because you're not good enough, and it's not even because you're doing too much. Burnout happens when you try to run a race without a route. Life is busy and the world tells you to go faster, push harder, say yes to everything, hustle harder, grind more, keep going. But almost no one asks the most important question. Where are you going and how are you getting there? Here's the truth most people miss. It's not the speed that breaks you. It's the lack of structure. Imagine you're in a car with your foot on the gas, but the wheels are spinning in mud. No traction, no direction. Just noise, just wasted energy. That's burnout. You're moving but you're not advancing. Motion does not equal progress, and progress without purpose is exhausting. People don't burn out because they care too much. They burn out because they never paused long enough to organize what they care about. They give everything to everything, and eventually there's nothing left for themselves. Let me say it this way. If you don't build a system for your life, burnout will build one for you, and you won't like it. Because burnout creates a life filled with hurry, obligation, confusion, and fatigue. A life where you're always behind, always anxious, always wondering if it's all worth it. But here's the good news. You can fix this. The answer is not running away from responsibility. It's not quitting your job. It's not disappearing from your life. The solution is structure. Most people don't need less to do. They need a better way to do it. You don't need to abandon your goals. You just need guardrails. You need a system. Here's a simple formula. Energy without structure leads to burnout. Energy with structure leads to breakthroughs. Burnout is a message. It's telling you that something is out of order. It's like the check engine light in your car. You don't blame the light. You investigate the cause. You fix the system, so instead of asking, what's wrong with me? Ask a better question. Where is my system broken? Do I have a morning routine that gives me clarity? Do I schedule my most important work, or do I simply hope I'll find time? Do I protect my energy like it's valuable, or do I give it away to the loudest voice every day? What changed my life was simple. I stopped reacting and I started building. Building a life with intention. Building a calendar that reflected my values. Building boundaries that protected my peace. Building habits that restored my energy. That's how you beat burnout. You don't wait for the world to slow down. You create a structure that keeps you steady when the world speeds up. No matter how exhausted you feel today, there is a better way. It doesn't require a miracle. It doesn't require a rescue. It only requires a decision. A decision to stop living by accident and start living by design. Because burnout is not the end. It's an invitation. An invitation to slow down, not to quit, but to recalibrate. To stop running in circles and start moving with direction. Remember this. Burnout is not a character flaw. It's a system flaw. Fix the system and you'll find yourself again. Let's move forward with structure. Let's rebuild with purpose. And let's begin today. Discipline is the foundation, and it feeds your energy. Now let's talk about discipline. I know what you might be thinking. Discipline sounds like hard work. It sounds like restriction. It sounds like sacrifice. But here's the truth. Discipline is not a burden. It's a battery. It doesn't drain you. It charges you. It doesn't cage your freedom. It creates it. Burnout doesn't come from working too hard. Burnout comes from working without order. It's the weight of decisions, distractions, and disorganization that wears you down. Discipline simplifies your life. It removes the noise. It preserves your energy. Discipline is the invisible structure that holds your energy in place. Without it, your energy leaks away. You lose time, you lose focus, you lose strength. But with discipline, everything changes. Your mornings become sharper, your mind becomes clearer, and your purpose becomes stronger. Here's a question for you. When do you feel your best? When do you feel in control, confident, and calm? It's not during chaos. It's not when you're chasing a dozen things at once. It's when you have a rhythm, a structure, a flow. That's discipline. It's waking up early, not because you have to, but because you want to get ahead. It's planning your day before the day attacks you. It's doing the hard thing first, so the rest of the day feels lighter. It's saying no to what's easy, so you can say yes to what's essential. Now listen, you don't need to be extreme. You just need to be consistent. You don't need to run 10 miles every day. But maybe you do need to walk for 20 minutes. You don't need to read 50 books this year, but maybe you do need to read 10 pages each night. Discipline isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters on purpose. You want to beat burnout? Then stop negotiating with your purpose. Stop starting over every Monday. Stop living on autopilot and calling it a lifestyle. Instead, build a foundation, one small structured discipline at a time. Wake up with intention. Eat with awareness, work with focus, rest with peace. Each habit is like a brick, and those bricks laid daily build the fortress that protects your energy. I've been around long enough to see the pattern. People think motivation is the key, but motivation is fleeting. It's like a spark, quick and emotional. Discipline is the firewood. It keeps the fire burning when the spark is gone. So don't wait for motivation. Build a system. Wake up because it's who you are, not because you feel like it. Show up because you made a decision, not because your emotions gave you permission. Discipline is identity, and identity fuels consistency. Consistency protects your energy like nothing else can. Let me say that again because it's worth remembering. Discipline protects your energy, and energy is the currency of success. Show me a person who's calm, focused, and fulfilled, and I'll show you a person with discipline. Not perfection, not rigidity, just consistent, intentional structure. Today, ask yourself, what one habit could I install that would change how I feel tomorrow? What's one area where I've let comfort replace consistency? What's one promise I can keep to myself starting now? You don't need a dramatic transformation. You need small structured steps repeated with discipline. Because burnout doesn't win when you do less. Burnout loses when you live with order. Let your discipline become your foundation. Let it become your shield. Let it become your power. Because when you build a life with discipline, you don't just survive the day, you lead it. If you don't schedule it, stress will. Let me say something that might surprise you. Stress doesn't come from having too much to do. Stress comes from not knowing when you're going to do it. That's the real problem. It's not the mountain that wears you down. It's the fog. It's the confusion. It's the guessing game we play with our time. When you live your life without a schedule, you invite stress to be your time manager. And let me tell you, stress is a terrible manager. It's frantic, it's reactive, it waits until the last minute. It thrives on chaos and feeds on guilt. But there's good news, you can take the job back. All you need is a calendar, not just to track what's urgent, but to design what's important. I meet people all the time who say, Jim, I don't like structure. I like to go with the flow. And I smile and say, that's fine as long as the flow isn't leading you off a cliff. If you don't put your priorities on your calendar, the world will fill it with its own priorities. Meetings you didn't ask for, notifications that don't matter, distractions that feel urgent but steal your time and peace. Here's a principle I've lived by. If it's not scheduled, it's just a wish. You want to exercise more? Schedule it. Want to read daily? Schedule it. Want to build a side business, improve your health, or spend more time with your family? Schedule it or watch it slowly disappear behind everything else. You don't find time. You make time with a plan. I'm not talking about filling every second with activity. I'm talking about designing a rhythm that works for your life. A rhythm that includes rest, a rhythm that honors your energy, and a rhythm that protects your focus. Do you know what a schedule does? It eliminates mental clutter. Instead of constantly wondering what should I be doing right now, you already know. Instead of reacting to every text, every email, and every distraction, you're anchored to your priorities. That's not restriction, that's freedom. Structure doesn't limit you, it liberates you. Let me give you a practical tip you can start today. Every evening, take just 10 minutes and write down your next day, not in your head, on paper. Decide ahead of time what's important. Block it out, protect it like it's sacred, because it is. Do that one habit and you'll cut your stress in half. Why? Because when the day begins, you're already in control. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from strength. You're not asking, what should I do? You're declaring, this is what I chose to do. And that difference changes everything. So here's my challenge to you. No more open calendars. No more living at the mercy of the day. Take out your planner, your phone, or a piece of paper. It doesn't matter. Write down what matters most and give it a time and a place to live. Because if you don't, stress will. When you own your schedule, you begin to own your life. The mind quiets down. The heart feels lighter. The work becomes focused. And burnout starts to lose its grip. Structure your time, protect your peace, and lead your life by design, not by default. Now let's move on to something equally important. Say no with structure or say yes to exhaustion. Here's a life-changing truth. Every yes is also a no. You can't say yes to everything and still live a meaningful life. You can't say yes to every request, every distraction, every demand, and expect to stay energized, focused, and fulfilled. Most people don't burn out because they're weak. They burn out because they don't know how or when to say no. So they say yes. Yes to extra work. Yes to last-minute favors. Yes to late-night emails. Yes to things they don't have the time, energy, or passion for. And do you know what that kind of yes really is? It's a quiet surrender to exhaustion. When you live without boundaries, the world will gladly take everything you have. Not because it's evil, but because it's hungry. If you don't have a structure, a system for your time, your calendar, and your values, you'll end up overwhelmed, overbooked, and burned out. You have to learn how to say no with structure, confidence, and grace. I'm not talking about being rude. I'm not talking about being selfish. I'm talking about being wise. Because saying no doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough about what matters most. Here's the principle. If you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. If you don't protect your energy, someone else will spend it for you. If you don't guard your time, someone else will fill it with their agenda. If you don't build a wall around your peace, the world will walk right through it. You need a system that helps you decide instead of react. And that starts with one simple step. Know what you're saying yes to. Because when you know your yes, you can say no without guilt, without fear, and without explaining yourself to everyone. That's not arrogance, that's clarity. Clarity creates boundaries. Boundaries create protection. And protection creates energy. You don't need to say no to everything, just the things that don't align with your purpose. You don't need to become rigid, you need to become responsible. You don't need to apologize for honoring your limits, because your limits are what keep you strong. Here's what I recommend. Create a non-negotiables list. Write down what matters most, your priorities, your commitments, and your sacred space. Then schedule around those first. When something tries to interrupt you, say, I can't say yes to that. I've already said yes to something more important. That's structure. That's discipline. That's leadership over your own life. Burnout doesn't come from doing too little. It comes from saying yes to too much of what doesn't matter and leaving no room for what does. So ask yourself, who or what are you saying yes to out of fear or guilt? What would change if you started saying no with strength instead of saying yes with resentment? How much energy, time, and peace could you protect with a few clear boundaries? You don't need to be everything to everyone. You don't need to answer every call. You don't need to respond to every email. You don't need to accept every request. You need to honor your structure and let that structure speak for you. Once you do, you'll feel lighter. You'll feel stronger, you'll feel focused again. Because in the end, saying no is not about rejection. It's about protection. Protecting your purpose, protecting your pace, and protecting the life you're building, one intentional yes and one courageous no at a time. Now let's talk about something many people misunderstand. Rest is a responsibility, not a reward. Some people believe rest is something you earn after you've worked hard enough, something you get only when every task is finished and every box is checked. That belief is a trap, because here's what happens. You overwork, you overstretch, you keep saying just a little more, just one more task, just one more hour, and before you know it, your body is worn down, your mind is foggy, and your motivation has disappeared. That's not productivity, that's poor planning. Rest isn't something you get at the end of your work. Rest is something you schedule at the beginning because it's part of the plan. You don't rest because you're lazy, you rest because you're smart. Because you understand that your energy is your greatest asset, and you guard it like gold. Now let's get this straight. Rest is not weakness, it's wisdom. Rest is what sharpens the axe before the swing. It's what fuels the mind before a decision. It's what restores the heart before the next battle. Most people burn out not because they're doing too much, but because they never pause long enough to recover, reflect, and realign. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you rested on purpose? Not because your body collapsed, not because you got sick, not because you hit a wall, but because you planned to, because it was part of your system, because you recognize that rest is what makes the work worth it. If you don't plan rest, your body will force it, and you won't like the timing. That's the cost of ignoring rhythm. Nature runs in cycles, and so do we. The seasons change. The tides pull in and out. The heart beats and pauses. The lungs inhale and exhale. There is no high performance without deliberate recovery. Here's a principle worth remembering. Rest is fuel, not failure. When you rest intentionally, you return stronger. Your thoughts become clearer. Your decisions become sharper. Your energy is renewed. You walk into your next task ready, not resentful. You speak with calm instead of chaos. You lead from overflow, not from emptiness. Build rest into your weekly structure like it's a meeting with your future self. Schedule blocks of silence. Turn off the noise for a while. Step away from the screen, take a walk, take a nap, take a breath. Rest is not passive, it's productive. It's what allows you to keep showing up day after day with strength and presence. So stop treating rest like it's optional. Stop feeling guilty for taking a break. Guilt has no place in rest because rest is part of the plan. You wouldn't drive your car until the tank is empty and then blame the car when it breaks down. You stop, you refuel, you check the engine, you invest in its performance. Why should your body, your mind, and your soul be treated with any less care? Rest is leadership. It's saying, I value my energy so much that I protect it before it runs out. It's not waiting for burnout to arrive. It's building a rhythm that makes burnout unnecessary. From this day forward, shift your mindset. Rest is not the reward for good behavior. It's the responsibility of those who plan to lead, to last, and to live well. Build your rest like you build your schedule. Plan it, protect it, practice it. Because a rested mind is a powerful mind, and a rested heart is a wise one. You're not just surviving, you're learning how to thrive. Purpose brings power, but structure keeps it focused. I've learned this after years of observing people from every walk of life. When a person finds their purpose, it lights them up. They get a spark in their eyes and a strength in their step. Purpose wakes you up in the morning. It whispers that there's something important for you to do. But here's the danger. Purpose without structure will wear you out. Passion can pull you in many directions. And if you don't build a system to harness it, you'll end up scattered, overwhelmed, and eventually burned out. Think of purpose as a powerful river, strong, moving, alive. But without banks and boundaries, that river floods. It spreads out. It loses momentum. It destroys everything in its path. Structure is what gives that river focus. Purpose is potential. Structure is execution. Together they create a life that moves mountains. Have you ever felt excited about a new idea but couldn't get it off the ground? Have you ever had big dreams but no consistent action behind them? That's not a motivation problem. That's a structure problem. You don't need more passion. You need a framework. You need a plan. You need to assign your purpose a place on your calendar. The person who is full of purpose but lacking discipline burns bright for a while and then crashes. But the person who builds structure around their passion doesn't just shine brightly. They shine consistently. The key is simple. Translate purpose into process. Don't just say, I want to help people. Ask yourself, when will I help them? How will I help them? For how long? With what tools? Don't just say, I want to build something great. Ask, what step can I take today and again tomorrow to make that happen? Purpose fuels the engine. Structure lays the tracks. When those two are aligned, you feel momentum instead of fatigue. You don't burn out when you know exactly what to do next. You burn out when you care deeply but wander aimlessly. Take your purpose and break it down into a repeatable rhythm. Don't rely on willpower. Don't chase inspiration. Build rituals, build routines, build systems. Because a system doesn't care how you feel. It shows up anyway. And when your structure shows up, your purpose stays alive. A purpose protected by structure becomes unstoppable. Structure may seem boring to some people, but boredom is better than burnout. Consistency beats chaos every time. If you're a writer, structure time to write at the same time every day. If you're a leader, structure time to think, plan, and reflect. If you're a parent, structure time to be present, not just busy. If you're a dreamer, structure your dreams into daily, trackable actions. Don't hope everything fits in. Make it fit by design. If your purpose is worth pursuing, it's worth scheduling. When you structure your purpose, something remarkable happens. You feel energized instead of drained, clear instead of confused, aligned instead of anxious. That's the reward of structure. That's how purpose becomes real. What is my purpose calling me to do? And where have I scheduled that purpose to show up this week? What systems do I need to protect it, fuel it, and follow through on it? Remember, the power of your purpose is only as strong as the structure behind it. Now let's talk about one of the greatest lessons life can teach. Success is not just about doing more, it's about doing less better. Most people are drowning in clutter, not just in their closets, but in their calendars, commitments, and thinking. Burnout isn't always the result of overwork. Often it's the result of overload. Too many tasks, too many tabs open, too many priorities competing for attention. Here's a simple truth. When everything is important, nothing is. If you want to beat burnout and build something meaningful, you have to simplify. You have to eliminate. You have to subtract, not just add. Complexity drains. Simplicity energizes. Every time you remove what's unnecessary, every time you say no to the trivial, you say yes to the vital. And in that space, clarity returns, energy returns, peace returns. We all like to hold on to things, projects, invitations, ideas, possibilities. But the more plates you try to spin, the more likely you are to drop the ones that matter most. So ask yourself one powerful question. Is this essential? Not is it urgent? Not is someone asking for it? Not will someone be disappointed if I don't do it? But is this essential to my mission, my energy, and my values? If it's not essential, it's excess. And excess is expensive. Imagine you have a to-do list with 25 tasks. You spend a day crossing off easy items, staying busy but avoiding the work that truly matters. By evening, the most important task remains untouched. That's not productivity. That's procrastination disguised as activity. Now imagine focusing on just 3 high-impact actions that truly move the needle. Suddenly you're not just moving, you're multiplying. Simplicity isn't laziness, it's leverage. High performers don't necessarily do more, they waste less. They aren't busier, they're clearer, they don't chase. They choose. Audit your calendar, audit your commitments, audit your habits, audit your inputs. Look at the meetings, projects, routines, content, conversations, and influences that no longer serve your purpose. Then remove what isn't essential. Create margin so you can breathe again. Creativity needs space. Energy needs rest. Purpose needs room to grow. Remember this line. Don't add things to your life until you subtract what's in the way. You don't plant seeds in a field full of weeds. You clear the ground first. You make space. You simplify. Then you multiply. Burnout often comes from clutter, not lack of capacity. Simplicity restores focus. Elimination restores power. Clarity comes not only from starting the right things, but also from stopping the wrong things. Don't be afraid to let go. Don't be afraid to say no. Because every time you eliminate the non-essential, you double down on what truly matters. Simplify to multiply. Remember one simple truth. Burnout is not your destiny. It's not a life sentence. It's a signal that something needs to change. Today we've talked about discipline, structure, boundaries, rest, purpose, and simplicity. Not because these things make life perfect, but because they make life sustainable. They help you protect your energy, focus your attention, and move through life with intention instead of exhaustion. The world will always demand more. There will always be another task, another distraction, another reason to delay taking care of yourself. But your greatest responsibility is not to do everything. Your greatest responsibility is to do what matters most and do it well. So start small. Build one habit, create one boundary, schedule one priority, take one intentional step toward a more structured and meaningful life. Because small actions repeated consistently